What's up everyone, Blade here, and welcome back to another video of 7DS Origin. Inside today's video, guys, we're going to be going over the exploration tendencies of 7DS Origins itself, seeing that this is still something that a lot of people are interested in, as well as myself. And after I went ahead and did a little bit more looking around, I did find some more highlights on how exploration does work, as well as traversal itself. So if you guys are interested in this, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It really does help me out quite a lot here. Y'all have been doing absolutely amazing when it does come down to at least the content for 7DS Origin itself. A lot of people are excited for it. Heck, I'm trying to cover as much as possible every day. And then as we get closer and closer to the game releasing, obviously you guys are going to get way more in-depth stuff here that we're going to be going over. So look forward to that type of stuff. But go ahead and get into it. So exploration has been a major thing on my mind, especially when it does come down to 7DS Origin, and there hasn't really been many places where I could kind of find like maps or anything like that until recently, where I decided to do a little bit of digging. Now on the last I want to say the last video that we did for this, we found this post here that had more of a review on 7DS Origin itself here. I decided to use some of their images so we're able to at least see some of the exploration. But what we do know about at least 7DS Origin is the exploration is immense, and actually it is pretty darn highly scaled. If we even take a look at Tinari for example, or Tiore, sorry, not Tinari. This is how you know I'm thinking about Genshin right now. But Tiore right here, we're able to at least notice how things are scaled in the world, how big mountains are, how big certain places are, and it's very noticeable, especially when we're looking at some of the other icons here. For example, underwater looks very in-depth. If we look at the scaling of the building of the prison compared to how Meliodas looks, even if you walked up close to it, we're obviously noticing that this world isn't no small compact world. It's actually quite vast. It's gonna have many huge structures, and every last area is going to look very giant. Well, to clarify this even more, I did some looking and I found Belial 7DS Origin. Be sure to check out his Twitter page as well. But I found his things about the maps themselves. The maps themselves look something like this. Now, this is pretty darn huge. Just for a beta map and something that's just going to be there pretty much day one, this is giant. This is something that honestly, this is fully zoomed out. So if we zoomed in, it's going to look humongous. But zooming out and taking an aspect of how big the currency or the area really is, it's truly amazing to see this. We're seeing so many like points inside of the anime that we have in the world that we've seen before. We're seeing a lot of places that are relating back to it, and it's honestly awesome to see them take a lot of aspects in starting to put this in the game. Reason why I say this is because honestly, I didn't expect this game to be as huge as it was, and the scaling of everything, I honestly did not think it was going to be as big as it was. We've all played games like Genshin Impact and such, Wuthering Waves, and they are beautiful games. The things that they do have sometimes are pretty dang highly scaled. But if we take Genshin Impact, for example, at the time one, I know it's not fair to put 1.0, but 1.0, but version 1.0, 1.0, both areas weren't as huge. Like in Genshin Impact, you had places to go, but the area wasn't huge. It didn't feel lively. There were a lot of places you could explore, but you were kind of bound on it. While in this game, 1.0 or beta right now, already looking at it here, we're able to immediately see that this is not going to be a small map. This is going to be a gigantic map with plenty of places we're going to be able to travel by different ways. You're going to be able to climb cliffs, run up cliffs, fly, and not no glider fly as well, because you do have glider flight in this, but I'm talking about actually fly with mounts. You're going to be able to take boats, which is all cool stuff, especially when it does come down to the exploration, when it comes down to this game. And not only is there just overworld stuff, but there could be some underground stuff as well that we've been diving underwater, such as like in the post that I was already looking at earlier, where they're under the water. There's obviously stuff down here that you're going to want to go ahead and inspect to try and collect everything. And I think that's really cool. And it does come down to at least the exploration side, especially when it comes down to everything that we need to really look at. This game seems like it's doing pretty well. We can even see just from how far certain things are, this is no small looking game. Sure, graphic wise, some people don't like it. I think the graphic wise gives it more of that what is it called, I wouldn't say sci-fi, sorry, sci-fi is the wrong one, to give it more of that fantasy theme, right? It gives you more of that seven deadly sins theme, that you're actually there. I wish I had the picture, but for example, with the Fairy King's Forest here, a lot of the area looks very like something you would see in the Fairy King's Forest. Tons of trees, tons of flowers, things like that, warped vines at certain parts. It looks very interesting when it does come down to the exploration. Though the one thing I have noticed throughout checking a lot of these here is when it does come down to exploration, we know it's going to be like Genshin, where you're going to have certain side quests around, you're going to have certain little mini bosses around and stuff like that. And this is still the same case. I think even in this post, they mentioned that this is the case. There's going to be some side questing, and I think it was in the negatives because they are actually worried about this as well. And that was the more chest option. You're gonna have your very interesting amount of just like side content, actual content, hidden areas to go to and everything like that. But the main thing that's going to be kind of a weird part is, other than in most of the cities here, some places don't feel like they're you know, ultra impactful. They don't have a lot of things around. They're just wide environments is how they ended up mentioning this here. And the one thing that they do want to see, and granted this was in the beta, so it could possibly change the actual release here, is more chests, more enemies and such. That would be great. Like, okay, this is cool, we're able to see some things here, but even they want to see more towns, which as exploration does go, we're going to be walking around, we're going to be flying around, checking out everything here, pretty much trying to find anything and everything that we can get. We even have this giant little fight that you can see here that looks freaking sick, by the way. But you're going to be everywhere, and when it does come down to exploration, you know, you're going to need stuff to do. So if there's open aspects like this, which has me a little worried, but I highly doubt it's going to be too crazy here. If there's open aspects like this, you want to make sure it feels lively and it feels full and not like a hollow shell of a world, which honestly, I believe in the devs to at least try to make this go in based on a lot of opinions, as well as a lot of reviews I've seen, both sponsored and unsponsored. Many people have a lot of good things to say, with some small negatives that come to boot as well. So I mean, like, I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to really work out, and it's going to be interesting. But one of the other things I wanted to mention is some of the traversal, besides like the walking up the walls and stuff that I was telling you guys about. There are going to be specific characters that are going to be able to do specific things. For example, Meliodas is one of the only characters who's able to actually like run up trees like this, right? So normally we're going to be like climbing up stuff, climbing back down, or either sometimes you'll be able to fly, you'll be able to glide. And this is all going to be dependent on certain passives / characters, as well as certain gadgets that you have, which I think is kind of interesting because it makes traversal kind of interesting as well. But the only thing I don't like is then it makes you kind of turned to what's it called, needing that character or just like travel wise, right? Let's say some character comes out and next thing you know, they're able to full-fledged speed flight, right? We like got Helbram or something, right? Or Gloxinia later down the line. He's just blitzing through the air, able to just fly at speeds that's crazy. That would be insane to see, but at the same time, it makes you want to go for certain characters. So I do hope that with the traversal, when it does come down to the overworld experience, that world exploration isn't bound to needing these said characters. It isn't bound to having certain things like this, which I don't think it will fully be, but it still is something to think about, especially when we're talking about world exploration as a whole. So other than that here, that was pretty much all I ended up finding. Like, I did see a lot of things with the maps themselves. I think Belial, if we went ahead and looked around down here as well, he had the dungeons and where they were, in which this is cool. Like, we have all the waypoints, and as you zoom in, you're able to see even more of the smaller areas. And these small areas on the map, they look small at first, but they're actually pretty huge. So I know this little temple area here, when you compare your character, how it looks compared to the character, it is huge. We have several different things we gotta collect. As you see, they have plenty of things to do at the top left, being like chest collecting, what's it called, the waypoints, obviously some special little things that you get between here as collectives, side quests, main quests. And it's honestly cool to see that they're taking a lot of time to try and make their world as good as possible for this overworld experience. But granted, I want to know what you guys think about the overworld experience. How do you think it's going to turn out, especially on release? I'm very interested on that here. And without ado, be sure to leave a comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It really does help, it makes a difference on the channel. So if you did like what I produced, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe. And until next time, everybody, stay safe, stay sharp. Peace.